So after the apes, we come to what I think is probably, for me, the most beautiful area in the game, and that's Fountainhead. I was shocked by how many people, shortly after the game came out, had no fucking clue that Fountainhead even existed. I'm like, what can I find the last fucking prayer bead or the chord seed? The fuck? I beat all the bosses. So all you had to do was like explore, listen to the dialogue. But I get it. I mean, these games are a bit cryptic. But I love the the visuals and the imagery of this whole cutscene, and then the look of Fountainhead. I don't know. It's just beautiful. Um, and it begins with a boss that I like but don't love, and ends with possibly the best looking boss that they've ever made. The Divine Dragon, I think, although the fight itself is whatever, it's not amazing, but the visuals of it, God, I think, for me, I think it's probably the best looking um, boss that From has created. I can't think of a better one off the top of my head. Or, I mean, I can sit and fucking think about it, and I don't. I'm fairly certain I'm going to have this opinion that it's the best looking boss. Um, so the way that Fountainhead begins, and the way that the last section of this uh, playthrough ended, brings me to a point about Sekiro that over time has become. I don't really have too many complaints about this game, maybe other than the second area of Harada, but the way that bosses are reused. So we get to the monk for the second time. Granted, it is a kind of, sort of different fight. I get it. But at the same time, I've been here, you know? And throwing in the additional two phases, which honestly, if we're being, can we just be real? They're all the same fucking phase, really. I mean, I understand the terror effect of the third phase, and I understand the mechanic of the second phase with like the shadow monks and everything. Okay, I get it. But as far as the moveset of the monk herself, eh, you know. But then again, I say that, and I think that the aesthetic and the design and the way the fight looks and everything is amazing. So I don't even know if I'm complaining. I don't know. All I know is that they reused a lot of the same shit. And on the one hand, I don't like that, but on the other hand, it's so well done that it's hard not to love it. So, I don't know. So, way before the patches came out, you could completely just not even worry about the second phase. You could grapple up to the branch and then death blow the monk in the second phase, and then it gets rid of the second phase altogether. They've since patched this out, I believe, and I get hit more than I should. That's all right. All you have to do is run from him. Eventually, the monk appears, and if you're better than I am, god damn it, you can go ahead and take care of her right here, and you don't have to worry about her bringing back the shadow monks. But the way that she's fighting right here is the same as the first phase, and I keep getting hit. And I remember playing this and getting so goddamn mad, or just annoyed with myself that I was allowing myself to get clipped as much as I was. And it's just not being on point due to flex. That's all it is. That's all it is. So, yeah, I mean, even though they reuse a lot of the bosses like the monk and the ape, and I mean, really, I mean, even kinda sorta Ishin, Genichiro, they're all so fucking well done that it doesn't feel incredibly redundant. I think it's only frustrating because if everything that they've done is so, I hate to say perfect, you almost wonder what they could have done if they had made more unique bosses. But at the same time, it just goes in circles and circles. But the monk here is not anything awful. Again, just deflects. She has a Perilous that can be Makiri'd here. And then she has the Perilous Pounce. And then in the third phase coming up, she gets a Terror attack that actually builds up really quick. But as you can see, she doesn't have a third phase because we're going to do Firecrackers. Alright, so here's the deal. The third phase can be dealt with similarly to how you dealt with the Ghost Monk, other than you can't use Snap Seeds. So if you use the Firecrackers and you are directly behind her, you can get in 4 swipes, like right there. Because the time that it takes her to turn around and reorient herself, you can throw out Firecrackers. If you're more on her side or in front of her, you can't do that. She's going to recover too quick. So it depends on where you are in relation to her front. Either do 1 attack, 3 attack, or 2 attacks, 3 attacks, or 4 attacks. And that's it. And I do an empowered mortal draw just to clean her up, because it's OP as fuck, and I like using it. So I treat Fountainhead here similarly to how I treat most areas, especially like the Hamlet in Bloodborne. I throw on a Gachine, or a blue elixir, they use in Bloodborne, and I just run. Pretty much it. It's pretty basic. I don't recommend that you do that if it's your first time going through Fountainhead. You're going to miss stuff, obviously. The biggest thing that you'll miss is the Sakura Bowl. You'll miss that prayer bead. And I'll show you where the Sakura Bowl is at. I mean, it's 2021. I don't know why you wouldn't know, but these enemies suck a dick because they will inflict you with being old. And I have never recovered from that. I've allowed myself to be inflicted with that, and then I just stood there and waited for it to end, similar to like how oh shit, I'm trying to think, like like the wardens or whatever in Dark Souls 3. You know, they'll bring your life down considerably, but if you just stand there for a second, it all comes back. I mean, you have to heal, but your capability of getting that life back comes back. But here, I just, you don't come out of it, it seems, unless you rest at one of the idols. So, I don't know. So I just gotchied my way through Fountainhead completely. As beautiful as I think it is, I've played it so many times that there's nothing left to do. So I just don't worry about it. I still recommend that you do it. Oh, and the underwater headless. Oh, that's a delight. That's a fun time. If you aren't certain on how to deal with the headless enemies, you have to go do a couple underwater, which is fun. It's no different. Just throw on some divine confetti and an Akos and go fuck them up. I would take some pacifying agents, maybe. I don't know, maybe. So the Sakura Bull is just over there to the left. You fight the bull just like you did Blazing Bull. Not tricky, not difficult. So here we're just going to make a run up to the backside of all of these. What would I don't know if they're temples. What would they be? Anyway. And then down so that we can swim past the carp, the giant carp, and get to Divine Dragon. Pretty easy. There's also a Shichimen warrior over there, but not worried about it. It all goes pretty quick once it goes, I think. I get some, I get to show off my dazzling skills here in just a second. Yeah. God damn. The game goes so well, and I do so well for a time, and then it's just like my brain freezes, and I just get fucked left and right. Beautiful. Oh, God. So over to the left is where the I can't think of his name. Sort of like the Guardian, I guess, is where you feed the bait to the giant carp, and then you would feed him the here are my giant amazing skills, and crack. And here I go for the air death blow, and I totally don't. Jesus fuck me. Luckily it's easy. Anyway, you feed the truly precious bait, I believe, to the giant carp, and then his body ends up where you fought Guardian Ape, and yeah, then you get. In my experience, that's the one that people forget about when they're going after the all boss trophy, or they don't realize that you have to also do Emma and Ishin, but whatever. Here, you don't have to use a sugar. You can just go to the right behind these buildings. I use a sugar because it significantly reduces the aggro range of the fish, and you can pretty much just swim right alongside it like I do here. So, pretty easy, I think. Pretty easy. Big time. So, yeah. I think I had said in the last one that I was super impressed that people were still coming to these games. I also should have thrown in that I'm super impressed at the longevity that these games enjoy in terms of how fun they continue to be. I mean, I've gotten burnt out on running them before, but I always come back to them. It's not like I get sick of them necessarily. It's just I've done, you spend hundreds of hours or thousands of hours like in Bloodborne. And it's like you kind of want to take a minute, but you never want to quit. It's like, I want to take a break, but I'll be back. And that's what happens to me all the time. I always find myself going back, like no matter what I'm playing, I'm always doing a run of one of these games. And it's beyond impressive that they've been able to develop something that I don't know what the word is that I want to use. I mean, that gets inside you so deep, or that becomes something that is so much a part of, I guess you, in a lot of ways. I mean, yeah, I think so. But I have an odd philosophy about games and other shit. But I have so many memories and times in my life wrapped up in Souls. Right here I got a text from work, unfortunately. So I was taking a second to answer that. But no, I mean, they get... I have so many good memories and times and changes and blah, blah, blah wrapped up in these games that revisiting them or staying inside of them is like comfortable and familiar and just fucking delightful. And I know countless other people feel the same way. This right here always reminds me of Dark Souls 3, right before the Gale fight. So, the Divine Dragon, I feel like I took a break from Sekiro, right? And there was a patch during the break. And I went back, I don't know how long ago I did a run, and I did the Divine Dragon, and something was different. And, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong in this, but it seems like what's happened is when I first played this game, and when I played it on PS5, by the way, I played unpatched completely. When I first went back, I didn't patch anything. I played offline, no patch, just as it was when it launched. Anyway, but I caught up on all the patches, right? Anyway, so one thing that I've noticed is when the trees come up and the lightning comes down, unless I'm completely misremembering this and I'm just a fucking idiot, which is possible, is if the Divine Dragon was in the middle of a sword slash, and then the slash came at you, if you were in the middle of a lightning reversal on one of the trees, you had iframes. it wouldn't hit you because you were in the middle of doing that. Because, and I really think I remember doing this because I remember thinking, as soon as you grapple, you're good. Like if you grapple and you hit L1 or R1 to do the lightning reversal, L1 I think. As soon as you grapple, you're good. And now, like I'll post all the patches. Now it's like you have to make sure that you grapple after he after the Divine Dragon has done one of the slashes, because you want to avoid it even during the lightning reversal. And that has fucked with me considerably in doing Divine Dragon fights, because I find myself getting fucked up all the time. And I think I get fucked up a few times here at the beginning because I'm still in that mindset of believing that I have iframes shortly after the grapple. Unless I'm wrong and I'm remembering this incorrectly. I don't know that I am, but I don't know. But everything about this fight is just just a delight. It's visually, it's amazing. The color scheme is fantastic. Everything is just everything is as perfect as it can be. And it reminds me in so many ways of, well, not in so many ways, I shouldn't have said that. It reminds me in a couple of ways. I think, yeah, look, right here. And I get shocked. I want to say that this is something that they patched in. I don't remember this ever happening in the first several runs that I did of Sekiro after launch. Anyway, now the Divine Dragon, in a couple of ways anyway, reminds me of Sif in that I don't want to fight the dragon. I just want to hang out with him. You know, I don't want to fuck him up or anything like that. And when I do, like when you do win and you do beat him and you have to go up and take his tears, it's kind of emotional. I mean, you're not crying or anything like that, but I think you kind of feel the weight of it. And I think that is exactly what happened with Sif and Artorias, both of those fights. And I feel like that's what's happening with the Divine Dragon, even though the lore of the Divine Dragon isn't as rich or as I don't want to say in your face really, because I don't think it's as rich, we'll say, as Sif and Artorias and the Abyss and all that from Dark Souls 1. But the impact of the fight is, I think, as powerful as Sif. Just my opinion. But, yeah. I would say that this is my favorite fight in the Sekiro, but I feel like that would be a lie. I feel like it's my favorite visual in Sekiro, and Sword Saint remains my favorite fight. But I think that this looks better than the Sword Saint fight, even though I think the visuals in the Sword Saint fight are amazing. I can't be alone in going into Sword Saint for the first time and being reminded of Metal Gear Solid 3 and the fight against Big Boss. But yeah, I believe after Divine Dragon, we clean up Sword Saint and Demon of Hatred, which I think I have one of the worst Demon of Hatred fights I've ever had, but that's alright. So we run up and we get the dragon tears, and just one little touch that has stayed with me is after you get the tears and it says, when the dialogue comes up, right, just that bit of different color and how it blends in with everything. God, this game is a fucking masterpiece. But I look forward to being done with the run and talking a bit about Sword Saint and Demon of Hatred. I've talked about them enough, I think, in a couple other videos. But I look forward to it. Yep. So here we have to go get the the key to go fight Sword Saint, and then run is almost done.